Hey everyone, it's Megan the Crafty Quinn, and today I am sharing with you some beach DIY decor that you must try in 2022 using Dollar Tree's brand new shore decor. So let's jump right in. I'm so excited to get started for today's video. So obviously I went to Dollar Tree and I picked out some of the latest and greatest, which means they have all kinds of shore items. They have obviously starfish, sand dollars, they have the beach houses, they're back. I'm so excited about that. I, of course, grabbed a bunch of them and, all kinds of little knickknacks here. And like I said, they have the beach houses and they have 3 different kinds. I love that they're very farmhouse looking. I love like the roof and everything on that. All different kinds of little signs. So I'm just going to go through and show you some of the things that they have. This was only just really a portion of all of the items that they have to offer, and this was at my local Dollar Tree, so they're working on putting more stuff out. But as you can tell, they are getting started and they are wasting no time, and there was a lot of great stuff this year. I'm so excited to show you some of the stuff that they have. So they have these, relax, breathe signs. Those are obviously cool. Beach. They had flexible stencils. Those are pretty awesome, and I'm excited to use one of them in today's video, and I'm going to show you which one it is. But they had a lot of great ones, and what's awesome is they are super flexible compared to those normally like stiff and hard plastic ones. So you'll see what I do with that later on in the video. So for this first DIY, this is a jar from Dollar Tree. You may have seen these jars at Dollar Tree. They kind of have normally that like plaid ribbon wrapped around them, and I took all of that off and then I cleaned this bottle, and there was some glue still left over after you take that ribbon off, and all you have to do is just run it with soap and water and just take a scouring pad and it just comes right off. You barely have to do anything. Really, the hot water, I would say, is what took it off. So I painted this all white. I actually used white Waverly chalk paint. I actually did about, I want to say, maybe 3 coats. I feel like it actually took a full 3 coats to coat this jar. So I'm taking some masking tape, but obviously feel free to use painter's tape. But I'm taking masking tape because that was the only thing I had left on hand. We ran out of painter's tape. We've been painting in our house a lot, so need to go get more. So I'm actually kind of making a dupe of a Hobby Lobby jar for this one, and I wish I had a photo to show you guys, but I was inspired by a piece that I saw at Hobby Lobby, and it actually looks very close to the original, and I'm really happy about that. But if I could find a photo of it, I'll have to show you guys. But I'm just using some mineral chalk paint, and that is a Waverly chalk paint for you there. And I do really like this mineral color. I love the kind of like, I don't know what the right color word is, maybe it's taupe, but I love the brownish type of color that comes out. So I'm going to take some Dollar Tree. This is actually one of their nautical rope variants. So they have a different version of this. They have the thicker kind like this, and we're taking one of those Dollar Tree starfish that you just saw in the beginning of the video, and I'm going to put some of that mineral paint on it, and we're going to kind of make it a little sandy. So I thought that was a nice finishing touch for this project to add that on. So we're gonna hold this down with some hot glue. I kind of did this at 3 different points on the rope here. So I just put a huge glob of it in the very back to hold that in place. And then I'm gonna do it 2 more times to the other side of this rope. And then once I had it right where I wanted it, I just kind of folded those pieces together in the very front because I kept this short. I kept the rope short there, and then I just put a bunch of hot glue to keep it together, and then more hot glue to place the starfish on top. So this was a really quick and easy DIY and one of my favorites from today's video. Let me know what you guys think. Next, we are making a book stack. I feel like a lot of the pieces that I'm making today are actually Hobby Lobby inspired, but honestly, if you go to Hobby Lobby, you can see all of these pieces really that I'm making, and it's right in their beach section. And so this was not supposed to be a Hobby Lobby dupes video, but I ended up being inspired by a lot of the beach stuff that they had, and I was like, wait, I have all of this stuff on hand. I can make this stuff. And obviously none of this stuff is going to be coming out like a perfect dupe, because if you want it to be perfect, you might as well just buy the product instead of duping it. But duping it is more fun because you get to put your own spin on it. So apologies in advance for my voice. I'm still recovering from a cold. But anyway, this was a book stack. It was originally one of Dollar Tree's Valentine's Day book stacks. I had a stockpile of them. As soon as I found them, I grabbed a bunch, and I'm so glad that I did, because I took some Waverly Pool chalk paint and covered that completely, as you saw, and now I'm taking some jute twine and some Michael's beads that you just saw me paint. I actually stained the Michael's bead that I have in my hand right now with some Waverly Stain antique wax. Love it. And I just kind of tied a knot on the end of this to kind of keep it in place, but I had to go back and refilm this because the first time I filmed it, I accidentally filmed it in slow-mo. Don't know how that happened. So I left a little bit of space. You know, I tied a ribbon, well, a bow with this jute twine, but then you want to kind of not make the beads lay so close to the bow because it looked super awkward if you do that. So you want to kind of leave about an inch between where the bow ends and the start of the beads. And then just tie a knot to keep it in place at the end of the bead string. And then you're going to do the same process for the other side. And it's a lot easier if you put a little hot glue on the tip of that jute twine to get it to go through the beads easier. And another trick is to just kind of twist the rope, and then it kind of goes in there, but make sure you're not twisting it in a way that's going to unravel it. So that is the other trick. So like I said, same process, tie a knot on this one as well. So once those strings have been cut off, and as you know, it didn't tie. I didn't paint the bottom of this, but it's okay. And I am hot gluing this string in place just so it doesn't move around. So I found one of those Dollar Tree wood bead garlands, which is awesome. And what was awesome about it especially was that it came with those 4 little anchor pieces that you saw there. They were blank wood anchor pieces. And then the large wood anchor came in a pack of, I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe it was about anywhere from 6 to 8 anchors per pack. I don't remember, but if you do remember, please comment down below how many come in that pack. So we are going to paint those wood pieces that came on that wood bead garland, and we're just going to kind of improve upon it later. But, oh, I just realized this is out of order. Anyway, so I ended up painting 2 white anchors. So this one goes on top of the book stack, and the other one is going to be for the wood bead garland that is right after this craft. So obviously I glued that down, and then I also glued down the little bow here just to keep that in place also. I was like, there's no way we're on to the next craft already. Sorry about that, guys, but I promise it's right after this DIY. We'll get to the garland. So this is an adhesive stencil from Dollar Tree. Everything so far except for the beads have been from Dollar Tree. Love this adhesive stencil. It's one of, I want to say I got this recently. It's one of the new ones that came out, and it's just over in their normal Crafters Square section. So it's not with the beach decor stuff. So that's where you can find those stencils, and that's normally kind of where they have it, but I was just surprised that they had a whole beach set of stencils, and they were adhesive, and they were surprisingly not with the shore decor. So if you're looking for that, that's where you find it, Crafters Square section. So we're just using some white Waverly paint, and just like that, good to go. And I love how this little book stack came out. So before we move on to the next craft, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Please make sure to like this video. It's the big thumbs up button. And if you're not following me on Instagram, give me a follow over on Instagram at @TheCraftyQuinn. Okay, on to the next craft, you guys. So this is the actual garland, wood beads garland. They had a couple different versions of this. One was a starfish. I grabbed both because I couldn't help myself. And this is obviously the anchor version. And I just love that it came with these like blank wood anchors because you can paint them, you can make them your own. The wood beads are also very easy to paint. Like, there's no coating on these wood beads. They look like they're kind of shiny, but there was no coating on them because I got the paint to stick to these beads very easily. So I did what you guys told me in one of my last bead videos, and I did put paint in the bag, but then I listened to you guys and I put some water in there also, and man, you guys were right. It really made a difference. So thank you guys so much for the awesome advice. I always try and listen to any tips that you guys want to provide down in the comments. So if you think that there's some way I could be doing it more efficient, I am always all ears because I am a brand new crafter, technically. I've only been crafting for a couple of years, so I'm always open to feedback and advice. I don't know what I'm doing with the paint here. I think I have enough. But I did have a little bit too much water in there at first, so I think that's why I was adding more paint. So now we're just going to drop all those wood beads into the bag, and it was just like, I mean, it was like too perfect, you guys. It really worked out well. It ended up being the perfect amount of paint, perfect amount of water. So you're just going to shake and bake. Shake and bake. I can't help myself. I kept saying shake and bake as I was doing this. But it's also just really fun. And it keeps your hands from getting messy, so always appreciate that. So then I just kind of like dumped them out onto a paper towel, as you can see there, and you know, that's really all there is to it. And you know, there were some bubbles that kind of came out, and you just kind of pop the bubbles with the end of a paintbrush. So I took this cotton string from Dollar Tree, and it's over in their yarn section. It's not yarn, it's really thin, just cotton string. And it's not twine, it feels like just a really thin yarn, really. So I wrapped this around my 4 fingers 20 times to make this tassel. Sorry, it's not the best angle, but so then you're just going to want to cinch the top of this tassel. And I did thread a piece through the very top of the loop just to kind of keep the pieces separate, as you can tell. And basically, yeah, I just wanted to make it easy so that, you know, it's a clear separation there. And so I just kind of did that already in advance, and then once that was the way I wanted it, then I just snipped off the ends of it. And funny enough, I was trying to get the piece of string through that loop, and it was so difficult that I literally hot glued the end of that string to the paintbrush that you just saw and just stabbed it through. And then it comes right off the paintbrush, but you have it through the hole, so it works out. You guys don't have to do everything I say, but I just thought it was a fun little way to actually get that through the yarn with, you know, making sure that it's actually going where you need it to go. So you just make sure you attach it to the string, snip off the excess pieces, and you have it attached to your garland. And we are going to thread this garland now with the wood beads that we painted. I waited and made sure that these were definitely dry before doing this, because you don't want the blue paint to come off on the string. I mean, I just feel like it'll look, you know, kind of wonky if that's on there, but you know, it also doesn't matter at the same time. I'm not selling this. This is for my home, so, you know. But yeah, I just made sure they were all dry. So to make sure that this string was definitely going to fit through these tiny little anchor wood piece holes, you have to hot glue. I mean, it's really the best way to get it through. So just hot glue the tip of that cotton string, and then just make sure that it's like a really thin tip, and that is the best way to get it through the tiny little anchors. And then, like I showed you earlier, I painted this large wood anchor from Dollar Tree and attached this to the other end of my garland. well, garland, what, I don't know, what you, beaded garland for a tier tray or however you want to decorate. And this was another piece that was inspired by Hobby Lobby, but actually the beads at Hobby Lobby were black. So I went with more of a nautical color. And this is how cute it turned out with all these little anchors. Love it. So here I was trying to entice Marcus to play because he jumped up on the table. So I was like, look, I got some mermaid tails. You want to play? And then he was like, nah, no thanks, I'm good. That's cats for you. So these mermaid tails, I call them that. I mean, they look like it. So they come in a pack of 3 at Dollar Tree. Also part of their new beach decor, nautical decor. Absolutely love it. I could not wait to make something with these. And the colors of this are inspired by something I saw at Hobby Lobby, which was a larger like whale piece. But we're taking one of those like long signs, one of Dollar Tree's new long signs for this video. And I have like 3 others. There's like 5 new long signs they have this year. And this is the flexible stencil that I picked up from Dollar Tree, one of their new ones that I absolutely love, and it's just so easy to use, and everything, you know, comes up great, and it doesn't even have to be adhesive. It really did a good job, and I was like amazed by this, but they're just so easy to bend to where you want them to go for your sign. So I just held it down with masking tape, used a sponge, and that's really all there was to it. It comes out really, really light, this Waverly color, which is, I believe it's called Pool. But after I used my hairdryer on it, it did eventually come out darker. But I feel like I should have maybe pressed down a little bit harder with the paint. So I took a sponge brush on this tail also, so we're doing 3 different colors on this. The first one is just a kind of a royal blue color that I got from Michael's a long time ago, so I don't know the actual name of that paint color. I don't even know if they sell it anymore, but I really liked it. But if you're looking for that color, you can find it at Michael's. And this one is the Waverly color, and I like using this on basically all of the beach decor that I normally do. So that came out a really pretty color. And then the very last one, the white tail, is actually a plaster color from Waverly. So now I'm just using a teeny tiny brush, and I am tracing along the scales that are carved into these mermaid tails already with the Waverly Antique Wax. I absolutely love it for this one. I really feel like it gave this light blue tail some character, and definitely added some more color to it also, but I just love the way it made the scales and the fins pop. So this was the most tedious process of the entire sign because I repeated this process for all 3 fins. So you can imagine how long that probably took. So I tried to kind of do like opposite colors also on each fin. And then I decided to be able to use this nautical rope for this sign. You know, obviously I needed a larger hole to actually have this rope go through, so you're gonna need a 1/2-inch drill bit or something of that size to make the holes in this sign at the top. And then I added that Dollar Tree nautical rope that you see. So we're using more anti-Waverly wax, and that is because we are going to distress this sign, and I have to say I love the way that the distress look came out on this. Bear with me because it comes out not looking great at first because I messed up in a little spot, but it ends up being okay. But bear with me because I swear, I mean, not only does it kind of look like, you know, like dirt and stuff like that, but it almost kind of gives it a sandy look in the right light. And I love that about this sign. So it really does look, you know, beachy, washed up, and that is the look that I'm going for. So definitely I would have maybe, if I could have, done another coat of paint on that stencil because it did come out so light, but you know, it's close up, it looks good. So then I just did that, distressing using a stencil brush to the entire sign. And then I just used a lot of hot glue to keep that nautical rope in place. And I glued kind of like I ended up gluing each kind of thread of that rope together also. Just so that there was no way it would come apart. So like I said, a lot of hot glue. And then I thought, you know, how cool would it look if I took some fishnet from my beach crafts from last year, and I got this at Michael's. You can get a 3-pack of fishnets, 3 different kinds of fishnets at Michael's in their beach section. And I just took a piece of that, I cut it off, and then I just hot glued this behind the seashell to really give it that finished nautical look for this sign. It really just ties everything together, and I love how it turned out. And here's how it turned out, and I have to say, obviously, this was my favorite DIY of this video. I absolutely am in love with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to check out more videos, watch them here on the left, and let's keep in touch on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend.